So I wrote this thing a while back and I called it Fear Factor. And I wrote it because I didn't think we were adequately addressing the war on terror, and that was a problem. And I said the war on terror, our greatest enemy is ourself. Like the company picnic, we've become a community of self-licking ice cream cones and have forgotten the mission, or more tragically become so self-absorbed in PowerPoint success and vertical movement within dysfunctional organizations that champion mediocrity and the status quo, which is what I think we saw under 8 years of Obama in our intelligence community and at times in the military. This risk-adverse culture has paralyzed the intelligence world and is metastasizing to the military and other government organizations to the point of a terminal diagnosis or paralysis through analysis. Our current senior management, and I cannot use the word leadership as that implies the ability to lead and inspire others, which if were the case, I wouldn't even be reading or talking about this right now. No, our current senior management in the military and intelligence services have become a large group of frightened children who put career advancement and self-preservation ahead of the mission. And since we're in this endless war, I would say we have Republicans doing the same thing. You can just replace intelligence officials and military with Republican leaders. Our congressional management, and again, see above why leadership does not apply, has redefined the carrot-stick philosophy. Carrots are no longer given to the bold risk takers that complete the mission and succeed. Instead, carrots are given to those who don't play with sticks, due to the possibility of a mishap where the stick may cause injury to someone else, or worse, cause personal injury due to the sharp nature of the item. While little attention is paid to the actual cause of this disease, it can be understood by identifying the underlying core problem: fear. Fear is our greatest asset or our greatest liability. This is a national crisis in our military, our political system, and our intelligence services. And the current situation in Afghanistan is a textbook example of this national cancer called fear. When our enemies have fear, they do not think and act rationally. Their thought process becomes paralyzed and their performance is substandard, allowing them to be manipulated, cornered, and defeated. Fear is our asset when we inspire in our enemies. Unfortunately, fear is our greatest liability when it manifests in ourselves. An evaluation of our current mission in Afghanistan or our political environment today shows fear to the point of paralysis. We don't ever voice this, however, but veil it in catchy phrases like risk aversion, political correctness, and cultural awareness. But the truth is, the American military and intelligence community are scared to death, as well as our Republican politicians. The irony is the fear is not inspired by the enemy, but from within the community itself. This fear and focus on self is allowing America to grab defeat from the jaws of victory in Afghanistan. And I could do a whole show on that. We probably will at some point. We no longer ask the question, how do we complete the mission and win? But more importantly, how do we keep from making a mistake? You know, I'd have to look back to when we moved the bar of success so low that it became a line in the sidewalk, easily crossed by anyone who was paying limited attention. But this kumbaya mentality in our politicians and our intelligence services has opened the floodgates for our enemies who define success as winning and destroying their opponent. Our current model is so stagnant, outdated, and self-limiting that it is not only ineffective, but provides a template for our enemies to easily understand, exploit, and defeat us at every turn. George Washington even talked about this in his farewell letter, to be careful of. While we have the most highly sophisticated technical abilities of any country in the world, it amounts to the analogy of a high-speed multifunctional computer used only to play solitaire. The various alphabets in the soup are continuously marking their spot on the nearest congressional tree for fear another four-legged man's best friend might just gain favor with the current elected potentate of the gold chest, and their overinflated fecal-filled budgets will not get them into the current place to be seen, where the size of a man's genitalia is directly proportional to his place at the trough. While the key words like unity of effort sound good on the parchment of the potentate, they effectively come down to a dysfunctional three-legged race between different branches and agencies desperately trying to reach the finish line of bigger budgets equal more power. This emperor's clothes mentality is hamstringing the true believers and the GSD, the get stuff done personnel who are at the epicenter of any successful endeavor. Outside the box thinking is labeled as cowboy and suspect with the potential for risk or, God forbid, massive success. When talented, aggressive patriots see the rotting decay of their superiors, the attrition rate make websites like Monster.com their quarterly bonus as the private sector continually draws the best and the brightest away from service to their country, like Congress to a $1,000 a plate fundraiser. This insanity must stop, or all our forefathers fought for will be a distant memory in the ocean of incompetence and insecurity that is currently directing our efforts. There is a solution, however. And if I could ever talk to President Trump, and I know he's getting hit hard from everywhere, and he's getting hit hard from the intelligence communities, the leadership, not the rank and file, I would tell him sometimes in order to build the perfect house, you have to tear the current one down to its foundation. Broken pipes, support structures, and shoddy architecture are best deposited in the dumpster of ineffectiveness. This reconstruction effort starts at the top and defines a new Pavlovian response where the reward is tied to creativity, courage, and no fear of failure. Success will be defined as success, a bold new concept point there, and not the mitigation of risk where all widgets were accounted for, no one got a paper cut, and all off-color, non-politically correct comments and conduct are currently being prosecuted to the maximum level of the law. Certainly mistakes will be made, but they will act as a temporary framework, providing for constructive evaluation to redefine a bold, dynamic structure that is indestructible due to its ability to adapt to its environment and overcome adversity on multiple levels. In this structure, each room will have a common goal of victory. Our president understands that. He's always talking about winning. And as a group, we will share in success and learn from failure. Storm winds will come and will change direction with each new season, but this architectural wonder will continually adapt and overcome adversity. That's what Constitution and founding principles do. The good news is that the materials for this structure are readily available. They are dedication, selflessness, integrity, and commitment to the mission. You will find these materials growing where the soil is not choked out by the weeds of selfishness, insecurity, mediocrity, and self-absorption. Once this structure is built, it will crush the rising storms and protect the country from future natural disasters. Fear can be overcome. The process will take time and the conviction of true American patriots who will have to stand and put country before self. We can start here in the United States. Overseas, we could start in multiple countries where we've had these endless wars that we know how to stop through good intelligence and actually knowing what's going on there. And then we can begin to rebuild our house from a military side, from an intelligence side, from a side where we love our country. Sun Tzu has a famous saying. He's a Chinese general. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war. That's why you need good intelligence. That's why you need to know what's going on. Not just in a kinetic war, but that's why these young people need to understand their country is great. But the liberal Democrats know victorious warriors win first, then go to war. So they're trying to win in the schools before they even go to war and complain and community agitate afterwards. Sun Tzu goes on to say, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. See, the Dems have gone to war in this endless war. They've gone into our schools. They're going into the communities and they're creating victims. And we need to be out there showing the contrast and telling people we are all equal. We are all Americans. Sun Tzu ended it with know your enemy and know yourself, and you can fight 100 battles without disaster. To win this endless, cold civil war, we need to know what the progressives are and what they're doing, and we need to call it out for that.